Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And as your wise man, I'm here to bestow upon you the wisdom that you're listening to Punks Talk Wrestling.
1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to Punks Talk Wrestling! On this episode, we shoot ourselves into more work as we dive headfirst into part 1 of a now 3-part episode on the history of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. I am RW Hellborn, the PA Rock Prince, hailing quote-unquote from Philly! And I am one half of the Crown, which is one half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast champion host of the world. Now, then, and forever by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England. He is my tag team podcast partner. He is the other half of the Crown, which is the other half of your Punks Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast champion of the world, Mr. Did You Know, Sir King of Reels, the proper prick, C.J. Newman!
Did you know that while Sting is obviously synonymous with WCW, he actually held the championship in TNA, the heavyweight championship in TNA, longer than he actually held combined, longer than he actually held the WCW championship in WCW. So he held the WCW championship for 250 days, which was over 6 different reigns. But in TNA, he had 4 different reigns, and that was over 326 days. So, in a way, I guess you could say Sting is more synonymous.
No, you wouldn't. You could say that.
Synonymous with the TNA Championship.
Yeah. You know what? None of those reigns were though.
What's that?
None of those reigns were Roman.
Roman?
Yeah. That was it. That was all. That was the punchline.
That was it. That was the thing. Now we can cut there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, but you didn't know. We didn't get a how's about. We talk about in the first clip.
Oh, shit. Well, fine. How's about we talk about the title history of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship?
Yeah, that's good enough. How's the rest of? Well, I guess how was your morning?
Good. I've went.
And the rest of your evening yesterday.
I've gone from South London to North London, which takes about an hour. If that's reference for anyone that doesn't know London.
Right.
Met up with a friend, caught up with them for a bit. I haven't seen like a year,
Nice.
and then headed back home. And I've been, that's it. That's literally what I've done today.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm good. You probably got up like an hour ago.
Yeah. I did not get up as early as I originally intended to. I stayed up late last night and
Sweet.
watched both SmackDown and TNA at like 1 3/4 speed. So I missed a lot, but I got the gist of everything most of the things that happened. And also started digging into some of this TNA title history.
Yeah. That's we don't actually know when this for reference, this episode's being recorded March 1st.
Yeah, day of Elimination.
We don't know we don't know when this is going to be actually released, but it's sometime while I'm on my travels. So
right, and where are you going again? Because Adriana asked me, and I was like, I can't remember the places that he's said.
I am going for 2 months. It'd be 65 days. We worked out the other day.
Jeez.
So we are doing 5 weeks in Thailand, 16 different locations in Thailand.
Nice.
We're going to Cambodia for 9 days, where apparently they use US dollars as their currency. So that's
okay.
a thing.
It's a holiday in Cambodia.
Yeah, look at that. I didn't even thought about that. I've not even think about that.
Wow, it's right there, man.
It's right there.
We're,
and then we're going to Indonesia, more specifically Bali, for about 7 days, where we're climbing a volcano, by the way.
Right,
and then,
right. I do remember you mentioning climbing the volcano.
That's right. Is a thing.
And that's one of the reasons why you might not be able to record while you're on the volcano.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, hell, in Thailand, like we're going to Bangkok, but we are going to shit, man. We're literally going to be. We're going to be in places where I know categorically we will not have phone service at all.
But you know what? You can do? You could just throw some ideas out there. You could make some proper prick, something or others. We'll think of it. We'll think of it. We'll workshop it. We'll workshop a phrase. But like something that I could drop in as an audio clip of like, yeah, I am here at the volcano, and I still believe, like with whatever information. Maybe it's maybe it's like like a little 1 minute, like sort of like the Danny the Brain Care to Explain bits we did last year for a little bit. Which
hell yeah. I mean I plan on my brain won't let me do the alternative, but while I'm in Asia, I'm going to look out for anything that's slightly wrestling related.
Sure, of course,
because that's what my brain does.
Yeah, you have to you have to be aware of opportunities in order to take the opportunities.
Exactly, but from any research, there's not much. There's pretty much like little to no wrestling scene out in the parts of Asia I'm going to anyway. But I'm going to keep my eyes out open anyway. But I'll send voice notes here and there where I can. Also, as it pertains to WrestleMania, like obviously I won't be able to give my prediction for the card because I'll be traveling before I can do that. But I'll definitely give my predictions for WrestleMania via voice note.
Oh yeah, there's certainly we'll figure out ways to make it work.
We'll make it work. We will make it work.
Taking the opportunity in the chaos to find a different way to do things.
That's right. Actually, I was going to say to you, like, this is off the record, as in off the podcast, very quickly. But on the 3 days before we go, which is 17th, 18th, 19th, there's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you and Adriana are free one of those 3 days. That is like the perfect opportunity to like have a call and catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because we're going to be pretty much like camping out at home before we like shoot off, if you know what I mean. So
sure, you're going through everything. Like you've got a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot.
Yeah, that's right. So if we can sometime in the evening for us or the morning for you guys or whatever,
you
let us know. That'd be a good opportunity to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, I know Wednesdays she normally goes into the office, so that might be. But Monday, Tuesday, either one should be fine. Monday is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh shit! Yeah, the 17th.
Yeah,
of course.
Either one of them. You just let me know.
Sweet. Yeah, Heather's out right now, but when she's back later, I'll talk to her and you speak to Adriana, and then we'll sort something out.
And we'll probably it would be best to just plan it. Probably best for you too to just be like, okay, at 9 a.m. or
Sweet,
at noon, at noon we're gonna call them just so that it's in your in your planner.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Amongst all the other things. All right.
Yeah, cool. All right, back on schedule. So
yeah,
what we're doing today is like we've done. Actually, I really like these episodes. These episodes are a lot of fun. I think so far.
Yeah,
I don't
when
know
was the
off top of
last
my
time we
head.
did? When was the last one? What was the
A while
last one
back,
we did?
to be honest. I mean, I'd have to look back on our episode history, but
Yeah.
I know that we've done the WWE Championship, and I'm pretty sure we've done the World Heavyweight Championship. We may have done something else as well. But today, obviously, considering TNA's, kind of deal with the WWE, we're looking back at the title history of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, as I think it's called, right? TNA World Heavyweight.
Yeah.
The TNA
TNA
World Championship.
TNA World Championship. Well, it's been we'll get to it.
It's had many names.
It's had many names, like many championships, many federations. Before and after them, it's mired. It's got a little bit of a rocky history. It's got some branches that reconvene. I think. Yeah, and it all starts with NWA.
It also this is what I was going to suggest, because we've spoken in the past, because I think we've always said we want to do the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and I
title
think
history. I think if we start, we'll recognize the NWA side of things. That should be a separate episode in itself, because obviously that was the TNA World Title for a while. So
we've never actually done the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
We should do that as a separate episode,
because it's so intertwined with everyone else. NWA is like the river Styx in the lower plains, where it just sort of flows through everywhere else, and it's interconnected in just so many ways.
It's literally, I mean, any kind of major promotion in the past, God knows how long, it's been, even with technically with AEW recently, with their All-In show, the one before they were called AEW, that the title match of that night was for the NWA Championship. But
they had they were
it was Nick
loosely
Aldis and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and I don't know that they've ever had the NWA Championship on AEW.
Not on AEW, no.
But it's
still attached in some way.
It's still attached. Exactly, it's still attached in that loose thread.
Yeah. So I think with this, we're going to start in 2007, but obviously we'll quickly recognize that
2007.
That's when the NWA. Let's start. If we start in 2007, Christian Cage. Was the NWA
was
champion.
the NWA okay, because that's part of NWA TNA. Yeah, this is it starts off right at the bat, because NWA TNA Total Nonstop Action was NWA TNA,
exactly,
founded in 2002 by Jeff Jarrett, right after WCW ended.
Yeah, pretty much. And
okay, so we're gonna start.
TNA started, and their championship, their heavyweight championship was the NWA Championship. We'll get into that 2002 to 2007 title history, obviously, when it comes to looking at the NWA Championship.
So
that's a 3-part episode right there.
At least a 3-part episode. I mean, that
at least.
I think once we get to it, and here's this is a little bit of a divergence real quick, but on the ideas of the histories of the championships.
Yeah.
I know AEW, we don't cover much AEW, but and it's only been 5 years, but there's at least enough to make a mention of their involvement. Did we ever do the history of the ECW championship?
We haven't. I don't think we've done the ECW. No.
We haven't done the ECW, so we should do that. And I think we might be able, because their length of time is relatively short as well.
It's relatively short, but there's enough to get you to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, but I think we could probably make that a rolling we could do them both in one day. ECW, we could make the AEW title history, just because it's a lot shorter, like a Patreon.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's these title history ones actually. If you look back on the,
we're gonna link these episodes. We're gonna link these episodes like a Marvel movie. You have to go. You have to go to the Patreon to get the full extra bits.
Yeah, I will say that like if you look, if you look back on our the numbers for a lot of the episodes that in the past, like these episodes actually get quite a lot of hits. I think.
Oh shit! Well, yeah. You know what? You know what else I just thought? Sorry, I know I didn't mean to cut you off, but I got this idea. Our 2-year anniversary is coming up in August.
Yes, in August, yeah.
Yeah. WrestleMania being 2 nights. Well, this is the first year. Yeah, this is the first year. Or no, this is the first year SummerSlam is 2 nights. Right?
Yeah, first year SummerSlam.
What did I say? What did I say? WrestleMania? Yeah, no.
You said WrestleMania, yeah.
What if we plan to do the NWA history as part of the 2-year anniversary? Like we could make, because it's such a big, it's going to be such a big episode. We could almost make them. We could make like a 2-part episode, but like. Each episode is like a double episode. Either make 2 big or release 2 episodes. We could make them in 4 parts.
2 chunky episodes, or we could do 2 episodes a week for 2 weeks.
Yeah. We could release 2 episodes a week, so it'd be like a 4-parter. But you'd get 2 episodes in 1 week. I like that idea. Let's work on that. So we've got a few things we'll have a few things we've got to do. Episodes we'll have to do before then as well. But this is great.
Exactly.
This is one of them. We're already. God, I love this. I love this early morning idea generating.
So these title histories are a lot of fun, and well, here we go. So let's start off. So as we said, 2002 to 2007, the NWA Championship was, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship was the World Championship of TNA, and obviously as NWA goes, they kind of touch base with so many companies, and then their working relationship comes to an end, and that's when TNA was left without, like it always does. So TNA was left without a world championship, so they introduced their very own championship, and I think I'm trying to actually find out now. Sacrifice in 2007, and the championship was the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a match. It was on so this is May 13th, 2007, triple threat match between Kurt Angle, Sting, and Christian Cage. Very short match, actually, 10 minutes 44 seconds. Not very long for a very first world title.
Damn.
But yeah, so Kurt Angle,
a triple threat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kurt Angle, who honestly hadn't been in TNA for very long at this point. I mean, I'm just finding out, and I think it was 2000. He left the WWE in 2006, so he'd only been with the company for maybe a year.
Yeah, but that makes. I mean, come on, man. What a great use of him, his talent and everything for that for immediately solidifying. This is certainly a new era, the new era in TNA.
Yeah.
That's a that's a huge get. And I mean, there's
it's a big choice. It's a big choice. So, but we'll stop you right there, because the night after,
here's what.
Kurt Angle was stripped of the championship due to a double fall result of the 3-way match at Sacrifice. This episode, it says it's episode aired on tape delay on May 17th. So it happened on May 14th. It was aired on television May 17th. Only recognized as a 1-day reign, though, if you're looking at kayfabe here.
Sure. This is where there was that little bit of. You knew it was on tape delay, so you knew it happened days before. So they were were relaying it as if. Yeah.
So we go speed ahead to Slammiversary, June 17th, 2007, and we had a King of the Mountain match, which also involved AJ Styles. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so they crowned the first champion, immediately stripped him of it because of shenanigans, and held another
multi-man match.
Yeah.
So I will say, I mean,
to get right back where we came from.
I know, yeah. I don't know everything about TNA, but I think after WWE, I think TNA is the company I know the most about. And
I thought I did. I'll tell you what, I thought I did.
I will say that, like, TNA between 2002 to like 2005 is known as a big golden era for TNA. They were putting on some amazing professional wrestling at the time. I think a lot of people would agree that maybe from 2007 to like 2012 or so, like, things were shaky. They weren't the worst, but things were shaky. That's when Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan got involved with the booking of the company. Vince Russo arrived. It was all a bit of a mess.
Yeah, and that, you know what? And that's maybe that's what it is, because I remember that era the most, I think.
Yeah.
Because of course I didn't start watching. I didn't even pay attention to it until big names show back up. Like,
sure.
I'm trying to think, when was Bradley and I went to an early TNA event. I met Kurt Angle.
All right.
Met Jeff Jarrett. I got a Jeff Jarrett autograph, one of those autographed guitars that there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of.
Yeah.
It's a cool guitar. It plays pretty well. I mean,
oh yeah, the guitar. I've seen that guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't really pay attention to it until that era, because of course they pulled you back, a lot of people back in with that. But that era was so messy. Of course it was, and then it just I hadn't gotten back into them until basically this recently, the WWE partnerships.
And, and you're not the only one. I think speeding ahead real quick to the modern day, but like the TNA had a really bad period. In fact, during COVID, there was moments where people thought that it was going to go out of business.
Oh yeah,
and not only that, like, we get up to 2012. I'm not sure. We'll find out the year soon enough, maybe through this. But Dixie Carter was involved in the business maybe 2015, and that was another rough patch for TNA, because they were Dixie Carter was meant to just be kind of like funding the company. She ends up becoming an on-screen character and ends up booking the show, and she knew nothing about wrestling. So that was another touchy period for TNA, and obviously they ended up being Impact eventually.
Well, and they also had, there was some very open and weird scandals. I mean, they had their own level of like. I can't even. I honestly don't want. I won't even get into it because I can't remember who was what's. But like,
yeah,
you're dealing with wrestling people who like literally were cheating on your wife was cheating on you with in real life. Shit,
it was
like
something between Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett's wives, and it was all messy, and they put it on TV.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it when they did the Matt Hardy Edge stuff in WWE. I didn't like it when they brought that shit. Like, that's the kind of shit you just. I'm so glad we don't have that shit anymore.
Yeah,
like that's the kind of shit that really turned me off, is because it's like that's not what I'm here. That's not what I want at all.
No, you want you don't mind stories like that, but as long as they're completely fictional stories,
I don't even need stories like that. Like that's the kind of shit you don't even need stories about. Like, but especially not real. Like that. That's the kind of stuff you just. I don't know, that kind of shit just has always irked me. But that's maybe that's just me. I don't know. Anyway,
back to this. So obviously Kurt Angle wins May 13th, loses the title May 14th, and it wasn't until June 17th that they had the match again for the TNA Championship, obviously the next pay-per-view, which is Slammiversary.
Right.
It's quite funny that they got this brand new championship and no one was champion for an entire month before they actually gave it to someone. But we had a King of the Mountain match with AJ Styles.
It was immediate. It was immediately a more controversy. It was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had AJ Styles, Chris Harris, Christian Cage, and Samoa Joe. And it says here that after the event, Angle's reign and the vacancy were no longer recognized and thus viewed this to be the start of the title history. TNA counted Angle's previous reign to his credit without detailing why, giving loose recognition towards that reign. So I think it looks like, it's quite confusing. I guess they count that first month as the reign.
Yeah, I'm only my guess being, if I had to logically come up with a reason, this is just me imagining a reason, you could say that because Kurt Angle won again, that
he was champion the whole time.
It essentially eliminated the shady result of the double fall result or whatever it was. Whatever the reason they stripped him of it was nullified because he won it again and proved it wasn't a fluke or anything. Like, that's just
right. Yeah,
that might be the a loose way of interpreting why, or just because professional wrestling and they can just do it. They can just say it or not. Want. Like, yeah, they can do whatever they want. It's their fucking title.
But we got here, like, technically, I guess, second reign for Kurt Angle since he was technically stripped. But he held that championship for 119 days.
The second reign, but one reign, yeah.
Yeah, so 119 days later, Sting would then become TNA World Champion at Bound for Glory, October 14th, 2007. And then he would only hold that championship, guess what, for 2 days, because Kurt Angle would win it just straight back. The first ever title change on an episode of Impact. So the first ever non pay-per-view title change. That was on October 16th, but obviously with TNA, there's a lot of tape delay
October 16th.
Title changes here because they always have been on tape delay. So this episode wasn't aired until October 25th. So this is Kurt Angle's third reign. He held this championship a bit longer than the time before that, so that was 180 days that he held this championship.
Interesting. This is. I wanted to look this up because, real quick, since it was a title, it was the first title change on Impact, October 16th, 2007. TNA Impact was going up against ECW on Sci-Fi.
Wow, look at that.
ECW on Sci-Fi, October 16th, 2007. Results, we had Tommy Dreamer defeating Carl Ouellet in a dark match. CM Punk and Kane defeating Big Daddy V, John Morrison, and The Miz in a 3-on-2 handicap match. Festus and Jesse defeating Elijah Burke and Nunzio. And John Morrison versus The Miz ended in a no contest.
Wow, that definitely sounds like 2007 ECW.
That was 2007 WWE ECW on Sci-Fi.
What a beautiful thing.
So there you go. That's
yeah.
Little bit of what was going on at the time. So
well, that's interesting.
So TNA. So this is TNA essentially. This is TNA going up against WWE's, for lack of a better truthful term, third brand, in the very same way of AEW going up against NXT.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing.
So where are we? So Impact October 16th, October 25th.
That's really. I mean, it's funny because it's the same when you realize it, it's the same story every single time. Every single company does the exact same thing every single time. The playbook. I mean, the playbook is the same. They've got big name ex WWE stars and a big name and Sting, who is still wrestling.
Yeah.
They've got the big names from the other areas. They've got some big indie guys, Samoa Joe. They've got AJ Styles. They've got their, it's I don't know. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful to see. You love to see it. Following the playbook. Another contender.
I guess it's the playbook that the WCW wrote in a way. So. Yeah.
I mean, WWE did it. Well, I mean, really, we talked about this. WWE is the one that wrote the playbook. They're the ones that. Yeah. They are the ones that did it. Essentially, first, they took all the guys. Yeah. They had the NWA. They were part of NWA, and they just started taking everybody's best guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I mean, I talked. At least I know I felt this way. But like. This is why so many of these people you never beat WWE at their own game, like and still nobody has yet. It's pretty wonderful. Anyway, we're this is going to be a 3-part episode in and of itself. Just at this point. All right. Where are we at? We've got.
So, and I just actually looked up while you were talking there. So, doing a really quick research on it, it looks like TNA Impact that night got about 1.5 million viewers, and ECW got about 1.2 million viewers. So,
yeah, man, they were neck and neck.
They were neck. As far as it goes for ECW at the time, like I think TNA was probably the better product than what was ever going on at ECW at the time.
I would believe so, but
yeah.
But CM Punk was there. A young CM Punk
was there. Yeah, the very start of his WWE career. So, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So, Kurt Angle holds the championship for 180 days, and he goes up against Samoa Joe at Lockdown in a 6-size steel cage title versus career match. Clearly, that was a pile of bullshit. Because Kurt Angle certainly did not retire, because we'll get to that in a second. Samoa Joe won. So Samoa Joe won the championship. First reign for him. Super, obviously, early in his career. 182-day reign, that was. And then October 12th, 2008, Bound for Glory.
Also, just a good thing to note, this was the era of the 6-sided ring. Too.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I mean that was the thing that I loved about TNA. Like when I did see it, I was like, this is fucking wild because it's different. It's something that set them apart. And that was the big I think that's actually what it was. I started watching, and when Dixie Carter and them came in, and pretty much I think it was at least the story that I remember is like Hogan and those other guys didn't want the 6-sided ring. They wanted to go back to the traditional 4-sided ring.
Yeah, the 6-sided ring actually came in really early. It was 2000, so they started in 2002, and the 2004 is when they introduced the 6-sided ring, and it got retired in 2010.
It made me lose interest, man. It really did. The 6-sided ring was fucking awesome.
Yeah, they had the X Division championship matches. It was really unique.
It was the first. It was essentially the first innovative thing that's happened in WWE. Aside from variations of match types, every kind of match has pretty much been done. It's just like this is a different kind of cage,
a variation of it.
This is like the Elimination Chamber. You can take credit for somebody can take credit for coming up with the idea of how it's laid out and everything, but the idea of people coming in at an interval is not new because the Royal Rumble did it, and it's like a cage match.
It's like a Hell in a Cell War Games mix kind of thing.
War Games already right. War Games actually, I guess War Games preceded the Royal Rumble, didn't it? So the idea of a timed interval entrance was an I guess it was a WCW thing. An NWA was it NWA that started, or was it actual WCW?
Dusty Rhodes and the NWA started the.
Oh right, so
War Games
okay,
match.
so but I mean so that was in the 70s. There's very few innovations in professional wrestling, and honestly, the 6-sided ring was one of them. And damn, man, I'd lose my shit, and if they brought that back to TNA now, for at least for some.
I could see them doing like, you know how WWE do their Raw and SmackDown where they do a retro night. I could see TNA doing that with the 6-sided ring.
Well, but the thing is, you need to train in that ring. You need to spend time in a different ring to do different things.
Yeah,
I would love to see it like if they had. If TNA gets to a position to have like two shows.
Yeah.
One show is because it's obviously it's a much more 6-sided ring. It means there's six amounts of turnbuckles instead of 4. 50% more sides and 50% more things to put together and take apart. And if they had like a stationary show, I mean, shit, man, they're filming in Full Sail. If they make that their stationary show. They could have the 6-sided ring. I'm just planning out TNA's future. People can pass this on to them. Triple H and Shawn Michaels can pass it on to Santino. Maybe Ava can get the word to him. Put the 6-sided ring in Full Sail. Have it be stationary. Have one show there, and then their road show uses the normal 4-sided ring. I don't know.
Yeah. Back to.
All right, where are we? Yeah.
So Samoa Joe would defeat. I just looked up. So Samoa Joe was a lockdown, 6 sides of steel cage, title versus career match. It was actually Kurt Angle's title on the line and Samoa Joe's career on the line. If Samoa Joe did not win, he would have to retire.
Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, so hence, obviously, he didn't retire, won the championship. No one retires. Held that championship for 182 days, and then he would face Sting in October 12th, Bound for Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And Sting would win his second championship in 189 days. So that'd be the longest title reign so far. This was a no count-out match. I presume rules still apply, but you can wrestle outside the ring. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, there was likely some storyline attached to it. It might have been. I'm sure. If it had to do with Samoa Joe, it was probably something where he was in. If I had to guess, someone correct me. I'm not going to go back and look. I just want to see if I could make up something in my head and be right. He probably was running something where, as the champion, he was getting himself counted out.
Yeah, probably.
He's just walking away from the match and saying "fuck this," and so that's why they made it just a no count out. You can't just walk away.
Yeah. So then, crazy. We're seeing it now. Like a lot of the ex-WWE, WCW guys, we've now got Mick Foley, who had retired, I think, for the 3rd time, who's coming back. But I will say, 2 years prior to this, I think it was in 2007, he had his street fight against Randy Orton at Backlash. Great fucking match.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that match. And Mick Foley has said that it's one of his favorite matches in his career because he got in really good shape for it so late in his career. He lost shape again, but went into TNA and he got into pretty decent shape. And I actually have watched that. It's the 6 sides of steel cage match and the following match, of which he lost, the King of the Mountain match. We'll get to in a second, but he was in pretty good shape. Good enough shape here. This was Mick Foley's last ever proper run in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I know he's had a few more appearances since then, but this is his last ever proper run.
And I mean, and it's great they did it in Philly. I have to assume that it was at the 2300 arena.
Yeah, I mean, let's find out. It was at the Lycura Center.
Oh, the Lycura Center. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I guess it's a bigger venue, so yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So he wins the championship against Sting, Mick Foley versus Sting, in a 6-size steel cage match. And was held the championship for 63 days. Ain't too bad, to be honest, for that late in his career.
No, I think it was great of them to have a place for him to do that. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
so Mick Foley would then go on to face AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, and Samoa Joe in a King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary.
And I don't remember what King of the Mountain, the match format.
It's
5 competitors in the match start out as ineligible to win. In order to become eligible, a wrestler must score a pinfall or submission on an opponent. Opponent who submits or is pinned is forced to spend 2 minutes in the penalty box.
It's kind of like the
they've done this in NXT with
I just can't remember what they call it in NXT.
I think they call it King of the Hill or something.
Yeah, King of the Hill. It's not King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. No, that's a TV show. It's probably
that's a TV show.
They probably call it King of the Mountain, and I just didn't realize that's what.
It is called something. I just cannot. What the fuck is it called? Ah, god damn. WWE NXT. Shit. Give me a second here. I need to find this out. It's gonna
we need to know this now.
Fuck. All right, cut this out. I'm on the.
Let's see if we can.
Thingies. I'm rushing. I'm working. No. I'm fucking this up. What the fuck?
Yeah,
is
that's
this thing
crazy.
Called?
Iron Survivor.
Iron fucking Zeri.
Iron Survivor.
Right, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Iron Survivor match.
Survivor match.
Very similar. Very similar. Yeah. So Mick Foley 63 days. Kurt Angle would then face it'd be Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, and Samoa Joe. This was during the time of the whole Jeff Jarrett Kurt Angle storyline. Because I just looked it up on another card. King of the Mountain match.
Okay.
Kurt Angle would win.
Here's the biggest difference. Sorry.
What's that?
The biggest difference. So the King of the Mountain, it's essentially like a ladder match. The chant, you have to retrieve the belt after you become eligible by having a pinfall or submission,
and then you're allowed to go for the championship.
Then you're allowed to go for it. So it's a combination. Whereas
that's cool. I like it.
Whereas the NXT's variant is with the penalty box is a multi-person Iron Man match.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you get a pinfall, you have to spend time in a penalty box.
If you get pinned or submitted, you're out. Yeah, which means you have less time to get your own pins or submissions. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I'm into that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
I actually really love the Iron Survivor matches.
I do. Those are fucking great matches. We should do. Yeah. I don't know if there's 12 have been 12 Iron Survivor matches.
There's barely been any. There's been like 4 maybe. Yeah.
We can do a top 4 Iron Survivor matches.
Yeah.
Mini episode.
That's his 4th title reign. So he's definitely the most title reigns so far. So 91 days and then AJ Styles. Here comes AJ Styles. Obviously, AJ Styles was a former TNA NWA champion, but here comes AJ Styles now winning the TNA Heavyweight Championship. They love doing their multi-man matches in TNA. So there was a 5-way match at No Surrender in September 20th, 2009, which also featured. It says a 5-way dance, but that's fine. AJ Styles,
because
Hernandez,
Kurt Angle was the other.
Kurt Angle, Mac Morgan, and Sting. That was who was in that match.
Okay.
AJ Styles' first ever.
Matt Morgan is an American politician.
Eh?
Matt Morgan is a
Republican.
Yes, he's a Republican politician in Connecticut. I mean, that That makes perfect sense. I mean, it does.
Of course it does.
Yeah, it does. If you're in Connecticut, like, all right. Anyway.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, AJ Styles. This would be the longest TNA championship reign to date, 211 days.
Yeah.
And then he'd go on to face. And this is kind of you'll notice a theme now. This is something that TNA were criticized for quite a long time, and that is giving the championship to any ex-WWE guy that would come through the door. So Rob Van Dam would be fired because he was caught with marijuana, and then rocked up to TNA.
This is right after that happened.
So he'd rock up to TNA and win. Obviously, they'd give him the part of the agreement. I guess when you're putting your name on the dotted line, it's like, I want the world title. So here you go, Rob Van Dam. Here's the world championship.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, that they capitalized on the fact that he was hot, that WWE gave him the title, and they were going to capitalize on the fact that they fired him for something that look at how cool we are. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
That happened. That happened. This is, whatever. It was smart. It was a smart business decision, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so
people
that
might
was
not have
vacated
liked,
113 days later. Championship was vacated due to Rob Van Dam suffering a storyline injury.
Yeah.
So that was again tape delay on August 19th.
Why?
In 2010 now, by the way.
I would. Does anyone that cares to tell us what the storyline injury would have been? Because it's weird. Because he never wins the title again. So you would think if it was a storyline injury that made him vacate it, there would be a story that got him the title back. But that never happened.
Yeah. Well, hell, let me just. I mean, I'm actually super close to finding out. It looks like ECW wrestlers were assaulted by Abyss and Fortune. In the attack, Van Dam suffered multiple serious storyline injuries in the hands of Abyss, including a need for stitches, spinal trauma, and possible acute brain damage, which would force him to vacate. That's so dramatic. Force him to vacate the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on August 10th at the taping of August 19th episode of Impact. In reality, Van Dam was running out of dates per year on his contract and was therefore taken off of television. So they used him too much.
Oh
basically.
My god, that's
bad admin.
Yeah, but then why did nothing ever happen with that? Like that whole storyline just died, and he never even had did he ever even have a chance at the title again?
Well, he actually we'll get to it he actually doesn't become the champion again. Maybe he got another title shot, but he does leave TNA at this point, goes to the Independents, goes to the WWE, and a few years later he's back in TNA again. So
weird.
Yeah, we're gonna work our way to like the 10th reign. We're gonna work our way to like 30. And then we'll stop and start a new episode because there's 60 title reigns, so it makes sense.
I was gonna ask where we thought a good spot to break. There's also, I mean, there's other. What if we break it after? I'm just looking ahead. What if we break it after in 2015, after Matt Hardy? Because there's a lot of things that go on in that time period.
Fair.
And I feel like we're gonna go off on lots of tangents.
This is already nearly an hour, and we're only at 10. So.
Oh shit! Maybe you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, mate. I don't know. Let's see where we're at when we get to 20. Because if it ends up being a 3-parter, it's not the end of the world, I suppose.
No. I think it makes sense. Because of the way it rolls, it makes sense that maybe we break it at a vacated spot. Like let's see if we can get to 25.
Yeah, cool.
Before this gets too long.
Sweet. All right. Yeah, Rob Van Dam vacates the championship, and here comes another ex-WWE guy, just left the WWE, and he rocks up. His name's Jeff Hardy. Bound for Glory. He defeats Kurt Angle and Mr. Anderson, a.k.a. Mr. Kennedy, who also just left the WWE, in a 3-way tournament final to win the vacant championship. Per pre-match stipulation, Angle in storyline was forced to retire.
Right.
He did not.
Okay.
Mr.
Wait,
Anderson,
he didn't? He didn't? But he was forced to. But in the stipulation...
He was forced to. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What? Professional wrestling isn't real?
I know, right?
What? You mean if they say
What
they're going to do
this?
something, they don't actually have to do it in real life?
That championship run was 91 days, and here comes Mr. Anderson, another ex-WWE guy, who just left the company.
This was also this is where this was the time period that Bradley and I went to the event, because I remember Mr. Anderson was carrying around the ugliest championship title. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I was. Listen, man. I'm a fan. I'm really a fan of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. I'm a fan of their legacy. I was a huge fan of the Hardy Boys. I dressed up like Jeff Hardy, Intercontinental Champion, era Jeff Hardy for Halloween one year as an adult. But I love it. But man, the belt design was not good. Like it I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why that happened. Like it wasn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. The whole Jeff Hardy championship. I understand custom unique belts. Like Stone Cold had, The Rock had it. Cena gets his spinner belt. I don't even remember what that's probably around this era. Those at least looked like championship belts. That didn't look like a belt because it was all color and no
metal.
Yeah. I think that might have been the biggest thing for me. And the
biggest letdown.
I don't know. Or it could have just it could just
Jeff
be
Hardy.
Yeah, sorry. That's a whole other tangent.
That's a whole Mr. Anderson,
bottom
35
12
days.
Bottom 12 titles.
Won the championship at January 9, 2011 at Genesis. Only a short title run. Jeff Hardy with the championship back, and of course a ladder match, because why wouldn't it be? Mm-hmm. Only an 11-day title reign. This was Sting, who had now become a 3-time TNA World Champion.
So this is around, and I'm just looking at their time frame. This is around the 4 or 5 year mark of TNA as their own entity outside of NWA.
I guess so. Yeah.
So this is all tracking. Yeah. All right.
Where are we?
Mr. Anderson, Sting.
Just so we know, where are we? Victory Road. I'm just looking for this. This pay-per-view. It will make sense in a second.
Okay.
Here we go. That was in March 13th. Where are we? We are in Sting. Just one. Yeah. Okay. So Sting wins the championship for his third title run. Only 108 days. It was during this title run, I'll just say, that we had the infamous moment where Jeff Hardy turned up to the main event high off of his face.
Yeah.
And had to be forced to the mat. So I'm just saying that now because he does make his return later on in the title history here. Mm-hmm. So we'll see that. But that was
some might think a little too soon.
Yes, you would say that.
Some people's concerns were warranted. And it's just it's just a shame. It's really a shame because that's gonna be a black mark on him for forever. Like it's not like he's not aware of it. It's not like he doesn't know that follows him around. It's just and we try not to bring up negative things as much as possible, but it's just an elephant in the room. It's always there. It's always there. It's one of those. It's like whenever you talk about Benoit. There's always that cloud that's always going to be around it, and this is that. But he kept bringing himself back, and that's fucking great, and I love it. Just
well, he's owned it. He was recently on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, and like on there he talks about this.
Yeah, of course you have to. How can you not? Like you can't get away from it.
All part of the process, and he seems to be in like honestly the best place he's ever been now, which is amazing. So
yeah, man,
good for him.
And a lot of people understand that, like performers, artists, we strive to be the best all the time, and we put ourselves at risk, through lack of sleep, through poor habits a lot of times for our artistic visions that can weigh on you a lot over time, and it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Sting's got the championship. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. Third title reign, 108 days. Mr. Anderson will win it back. Second title reign, 29 days. It's Slammiversary 9. Is that what IX is?
Yep, that's
9.
what IX is, 9. And then Sting wins it back.
Yeah, then Sting wins it back 29 days later on an episode of Impact.
Got a little hot potato going here.
Hot potato situation going on here.
Yeah.
Another tape delay. Why not on July 11th, but it wasn't aired until July 14th, 2011. And here comes Kurt Angle, who had been forced to retire. Guess not. Psych, as they would say.
I mean, he was forced to retire, but then he came out of retirement, right? Like, that's always the funniest thing. Is that the funniest thing about the entirety of the idea of retirement is like there's really no one that actually forces you to uphold that. Every
yeah,
state,
sure. I guess you have to retire, but you're not forced to keep in retirement.
Yeah, you don't have to stay in retirement. Now certain companies, like my dad worked for the FBI. They have a forced retirement age, or at least they did. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. They can't have people undercover, in their 80s. It doesn't work that way. Like just but like whatever. You don't have to. You don't have to stay retired. Like it's just an agreement that you made. I don't know. It's always funny. They said they were retiring, but now they're not. I'm like, well, they decided they wanted to work some more. You can't tell them no. Anyway, yeah, he's not retired. He didn't keep to his word.
It's looking here. Following the episode, Angle. This is when he was forced to retire. Angle came out to make his retirement speech after he had failed to attempt to win the TNA Championship, but was interrupted by Jeff Jarrett, who announced that he had made a deal with Hogan and Bischoff in order to end Angle's career at Bound for Glory, before attacking Angle when he was restrained. Basically, it seems like he had to retire, and then he was told that he'd have another match, so it's all a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the...
You don't say a title history that's a bit confusing.
Yeah. So yeah, Kurt Angle would win the championship at Hardcore Justice, August 7th, 2011. Fifth title reign. Again, this now would be the most title reigns out of anyone, because I think him and Sting were drawing at 4 before this. 72 days, and then it comes James Storm, who was obviously in a tag team with Beer Money with Bobby Roode.
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere, obviously, and it didn't last for long.
I think it was at the time. Yeah, not in the last only 8 days, but I think
he lost to his other tag team partner, to Bobby Roode.
Yeah, exactly. So James Storm, I think this is the time when Beer Money was broken up, and obviously they would then become single stars and go for the heavyweight championship. So James Storm would win this on an episode of Impact, and only lose it 8 days later to Bobby Roode, who would then go on to be the longest reigning TNA champion at 256 days. Yep. So nice one, Bobby Roode. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now let's just see what was happening in WWE on October 26th, 2011. October 26th, 2011 NXT results. So here's what TNA Here's what.
No. This episode aired on November 3rd, 2011.
Oh, it aired on November 3rd. Okay. Okay, whoops. Well, November 3rd, 2011. Well, let's go. November 3rd, 2011 is just an episode of WWE Superstars.
Well, I think at this time, because TNA were going head-to-head with either Raw for a bit and then ECW for a bit, but then they obviously were losing out badly.
They moved to their own time slots. Yep.
Yeah, they moved to a day of which that they would not be head-to-head with anyone.
Yep.
I think they learned that lesson, just like AEW did.
Well, yeah. Yep, because look at the time period. We're the cycle. This is the 4-year time period. They realized, hey, stop trying to compete against them
and be your own thing.
Be your own thing and work around them and take the time. Like, you don't have to compete for people's attention. You
can just exist in the same world.
You can just allow them to watch you at a different time than they watch the other thing, and maybe more people would be inclined to give you more of their time if you didn't continually try to make things a fucking competition, even though the entire business, this is a business based on literal physical competition in the ring.
Right.
It's one of those ideas that, I don't know. It's always seemed foolish. Why did it ever need to be a competition in the first place? WCW could have just existed and put their show on a different day, and wrestling fans would have been so happy. They would have watched all of it.
I think at the end of the day, you need to strike if you want to do that and you want to compete, you need to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
And obviously you need to do it when you've been a company that's been around for a long ass time. If TNA could easily, I reckon, if they build another 10 years and they hadn't had this thing with WWE right now, I feel like they could easily try to compete. They've been around for 25 years now, or nearly 25 years.
Yeah. You know why? Because really they've been around. Who are you talking about?
TNA. 25 years.
TNA 25 years. Yes.
23 years. Yeah.
They've been around.
Which is amazing. They've been around longer than ECW, been around longer than WCW. They are in North America. They are, after WWE, the longest running professional wrestling company.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the number two. NWA is obviously the continually longest running. It's never stopped. It's been very different over the years. Which also, to their credit, because they've never stopped. And I think
with NWA, compared to, they are not a weekly episodic running show. TNA has always been weekly episodic.
You know what AEW needs? They just need they need TNA. They don't need Ring of Honor. They need NWA. They need what's his name? Why can't I think of the owner of NWA, Smashing Pumpkins?
Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan, yeah. They just need Billy Corgan to book.
AEW would be in much better hands if Tony Khan just let go of the reins and let Billy Corgan run the show.
I think they should God, that would be great. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they'd be in much better shape. Anyway, back to this. Bobby Roode would hold the championship.
This is going to be a 3-part.
200.
I think this is going to be a 3-part episode.
256 days, longest title reign till this moment. Austin Aries with Dan. This is we're getting a lot of newbies right here, which is great.
Right. These are people that
young talent.
These are young talent. These are people that they might have been. I don't know. I don't know where James Storm and Bobby Roode were before. They were in Beer Money. They were just
but
I mean before TNA. These are homegrown.
TNA.
These are basically.
They made their name in WWE. Sorry, they made their name in TNA. To be honest, TNA.
Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode started in TNA in 2004. Like,
and James Storm started in TNA in 2002. He's there since day one.
he was only. Oh shit. Okay, so James Storm. Yeah, so James Storm is a TNA like.
James Storm was in the WCW developmental in 2000.
And that obviously
Storm
ended.
returned to the independent circuit after WCW was sold to the WWF, and then he joined TNA, and the rest is history.
Yeah, Bobby Roode started in the Indies '98, so 6 years in the Indies, and these are he had some dark matches in WWE in '98. In between 98
this is honestly the early end of their career, and they were given the and same with Austin Aries. Austin Aries made his name in Ring of Honor before this, but he would then obviously rock up to TNA.
Yeah, because
that's where he would become champion. Aries voluntarily vacated the X Division Championship in exchange for a TNA World Heavyweight Championship match and event. I actually really like that in a way. I don't think, and in my mind, I don't think it diminishes. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see if Bron Breakker was just like, I have elevated this championship, and I will trade this in for a world championship shot.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I think that's quite cool.
It's a ballsy. God, man, I really loved Austin Aries. It's a shame that like he seems to have just become like a huge dick. Like,
pretty much.
Like just really dickish. Like, I fucking loved him. He was so good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he
was.
Anyway, but anyway. Yeah. Where I don't know where we're going. Sorry, my disappointment of what could have been. I don't know.
I know exactly.
I don't know if there's an Austin Aries redemption arc. He's only he's 40. He's 46. No, at this point, there's nothing.
There's
no
too much. Too much stuff come out about him that I don't think
shit!
Is
I didn't even know. I
just
looked at the Wikipedia page and I didn't even know some of this stuff. So never mind. Never mind.
But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a gamble. It's like I'm willing to give up a championship in order to like potentially have no championship in order to try and get the world championship. So I quite like that story.
Yeah.
So that was a 98-day title reign. His gamble paid off.
TNA's having a hard enough time with the Tessa Blanchard redemption. I
know, right?
Austin, that's never happening for Austin Aries.
That's never happening. Jeff Hardy comes. Jeff Hardy again. Winning the title again.
Jeff Hardy's back again.
This is like a year and a half after the whole stuff that happened in March.
This is a Jeff Hardy redemption.
This is Jeff Hardy redemption. Yeah.
But see, this is understandable because honestly, this is personal growth, personal struggle. It's like again, I would say it's hard. I was very critical. Of it at the time. I was firmly on that camp of like, no man, you have not earned your spot back yet. It's not been enough time, But hey, it's not my decision. It's not my decision. Not my company. I don't own it.
Yeah, exactly.
At the
Jeff Hardy, third title run, 147 days, and he would lose his championship to Bully Ray, or Bubba Ray Dudley, as we know him, at Lockdown in March 10th, 2013. This was a steel cage match. Bully Ray.
Which
I'm not sure.
I think a lot of people. I for some reason I feel like a lot of people don't. Maybe it's a lot of people that are WWE centric like we are. I don't know realizes Bully Ray had such a strong solo run in TNA and outside of WWE.
Yeah, well, let's not forget. So he left WWE in 2005, and he's been in TNA this whole time we've been talking. He joined TNA in 2005.
Yeah, but the Dudley boy, but him and Devon
he was in Team 3D with Devon, yeah. And so obviously this is him getting his solo run here, and he would win his first ever world championship in his career, actually, because till now he'd always been with Devon. So when that was in a steel cage match, his first ever title run, 130 days, and here comes current WWE superstar Chris Sabin. It shows you how long he's been around.
Yeah, this is another, and so he did the exact same thing. he pulled the voluntarily vacating the X Division Championship. That is now that's a thing.
That's a thing, it seems. Yeah. So Chris Sabin, he's been around for a long time. He's been in the Motor City Machine Guns, and I got it right that time. For quite, he's been in that tag team for such a long time, and way before this title win here. So
yeah. Oh, that's what we were talking about with Austin Aries was the idea of voluntarily vacating your quote unquote secondary title for a guaranteed shot at the heavyweight championship. That's something that I could see WWE bringing back, even possibly NXT starting that.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Bron Breakker's a perfect.
Oh, you
thing
did say that.
I could see Bron Breakker just like going through everyone and being like, I want a world title shot, and I'm willing to give this championship up for it.
Sorry, I was excitedly talking over you, and then with my also disappointment in Austin Aries at the same time.
So he would hold that championship for 28 days, not very long, and then he would go. It'd be Bully Ray at Impact Hardcore Justice in a steel cage match once again. A lot of championship changes in steel cage matches.
Yeah, why not?
Bully Ray's second title run. That was only 66 days, and then AJ Styles in a no disqualification match with Bully Ray at Bound for Glory, and for his second title run.
Yeah.
And this would be only a 9-day run. This would be vacated by then TNA president Dixie Carter.
Yeah.
She announced via Twitter that AJ Styles had been stripped of the championship due to a contract dispute. Styles continued to carry around the championship belt, proclaiming himself champion in the storyline.
Yes, and of course we know why there was a contract dispute.
And why was that?
Wait, this is 2013. Isn't the next year when AJ Styles went to WWE?
No, he would come to WWE in 2015, or even later than that, 2016.
Oh shit! Okay.
He left TNA in 2015, maybe 14. Where are we? 2000.
So this is October
2013.
Okay.
So because he would have a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, okay. That's AJ's New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jeez.
Yeah. So
man,
let me look at this real quick. October 20th. Where are we? February. On October 29th, TNA vacated the TNA World Championship. On December 2nd, taping Impact Wrestling, which aired on January 2nd, Styles returned to TNA with the championship to confront Dixie Carter. With Styles challenging Magnus to a title unification. We'll get to Magnus in the next episode. Magnus to a title unification match on next week's episode. So it's kind of like the whole CM Punk John Cena thing, when CM Punk won the championship and then left with it.
Yeah.
So it's a title for title situation. On December 8th, it had been reported that the contract negotiations between Styles and TNA had broken down, and that Styles would be leaving the promotion, becoming a free agent effective December 17th, ending his near 12-year association with the company. According to AJ Styles, he left the promotion since they made him an offer which reduced his salary by 60%.
Ooh.
So obviously they were having money troubles at the time and couldn't afford to keep AJ Styles. And that's where we'll wrap up the episode.
I think that's a good spot to wrap up what I think we now believe is going to be the first in a 3-part episode.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
The history of TNA, because there's just so many there's so many things to. Once we go down this rabbit hole, it's like let's have fun instead of worrying about. Yeah, let's just talk more about TNA. All right, man. Oh, well then I gotta. I wasn't ready for this. All right, so whenever this airs, it's going to air I think it's going to air in succession. I mean, fuck, I don't even know. They may not even air in succession, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if it's not next week, there's going to be a part 2. And then a part 3 that we're
recording it right now, so there definitely will be a part 2.
Yeah. Shout out to Wikipedia. Support Wikipedia. That is where we are getting all of this information for these episodes. Shout out to Alan 2K, Kaylee at 2K UK, WWE 2K25 pre-order now at WWE.2K.com. Get the Bloodline edition because that's the best one that gets you all the stuff from all the other smaller ones. Subscribe for free at patreon.com/punkstalkwrestling and support the podcast. Get bonus content and bonus points. Interact with us on social media, Instagram and threads at punkstalkwrestling and youtube.com/punkstalkwrestling. Email us at punkstalkwrestling@gmail.com. Yeah, that's it. Right? That's it.
That's it. We're done.
All right, we're done this one. Bye. Oh, shit, no, you say bye.
Bye.